I'm not going to ask you. I don't want to ask you like any predictions on like DeAndre Williams. You know, we've talked about DeAndre for a long time, but um, obviously there's no new updates in terms of where his status is with the NCAA, his waiver applications, anything like that. But you saw the news about Tez Walker from UNC this week.
Yeah.
Did that? Do you think that I know a lot of Memphis fans took that news and said, heck yeah, that has to mean DeAndre's getting cleared too. Do you think that bodes well? Do you think the Tez Walker stuff bodes well for Memphis, or do you think that they're kind of just two totally separate situations?
I mean, the situations are definitely similar, right? Like on paper, they're very similar, but we've said this a million times. Like the NCAA, there's no rhyme or reason to it. So like you would like to say that, yeah, there's going to be a pattern because of this, and it's going to it's going to be a similar situation because on paper that it is, but that's just not how the NCAA rolls.
It's
And
true.
we've said that for years. It's just like you have no idea what kind of decisions they're going to make, even if it seems pretty obvious and straightforward. So I wish that it was a good sign, but to me, like it's always sit back and wait on the NCAA because you have no idea what they're going to do.
It's kind of arbitrary and nobody really knows, right? Like,
Yeah.
but I feel like we should probably hear something pretty soon. And I mean, do you think? Obviously, we both believe that the Tiger basketball program is their roster that they have right now is probably the best in the conference without DeAndre. I mean, with DeAndre, that pretty much seals it, right? Like they're like we've talked about, top 10 team in the country if he comes back.
Yeah, I think they're a legitimate top 10 team, national championship contender at that point. If you
Yeah.
get someone like DeAndre back in the fold with what they already have,
Yeah.
good luck.
It's just interesting. This whole kind of back to the Tez Walker situation. Like when I read it, the NCAA, did you not find it kind of odd that the NCAA wrote in their statement about Tez Walker that additional information was given to the NCAA by UNC,
Yeah.
and then they added this little caveat to it. They had an opportunity to present this information many times and just chose to do it, which is kind of their way of like covering their own ass when it comes to like
Right. And saying that it's not on us, it's on the school.
the school didn't give us all the information that
Yeah,
we needed originally.
I don't buy that. I don't buy that. I was watching the beginning of that game, or maybe the lead up to that game, and they were basically mocking the NCAA, saying whatever about the additional information, and you could tell it was very air quotes the way that I can't remember exactly who it was that said it, but it was very air quotes the way he said it, of like this additional information that just came in this week. Yeah, no way. There's no way. I mean, they've been so adamant on the situation. Mac Brown and the UNC staff have been very outspoken about it. I just don't see them overlooking information that could potentially lead to Tez's availability. So it just sounds like like you said, like an NCAA cover up, like they're just covering their butt to say it wasn't on us. We've had our ducks in a row, but UNC just gave us what we needed to make this decision.
It just seems odd to me that like based on some of the things that we're hearing about what the NCAA is doing with DeAndre, it feels along a lot of the same kind of information, appeals, more information given, and then kind of wait and hear. It just feels that's where those situations feel so similar to me.
Yeah.
Not saying that the end result is going to be the same, but it just feels like, is it not weird that the NCAA is just like another part of it that really intrigued me was apparently in and saying, we're kind of willing to go to battle with the NCAA on some of the things that they've been doing.
Yeah, I mean, I think the states just feel like they have more control in these areas now, so they're using that to their advantage, and they're kind of pressing the NCAA, and the NCAA is not used to being pressed. Like they're not used to other people in power, being able to step up to them and say anything. So yeah, it does feel like that, and it should. Like with the way that NIL is and everything being, more on a state-run level. We've talked about in the past, like what Missouri has done with being able to pay high school athletes and stuff like that. Like it just feels like the states themselves are taking more control over things, and instead of letting this federal entity, I don't know exactly what you would.
No, it is.
Yeah, federal entity run everything. They're kind of putting their feet to the fire instead, which, like I said, the NCAA has never had that issue and is not used to that at all. But